If you were given one wish, what would it be? As little children, we believe in the magic of wishes coming true. And as we age, that fantasy sometimes gets replaced with disappointment, skepticism, and cynicism, some of which can be a bit healthy, and sometimes it can be at the expense of believing that the goodwill of others is only an unfulfilled magical wish. Welcome to Small and Gutsy, our podcast featuring nonprofits and social impact organizations under $10 million. My name is Dr. Laura Whitkoff, and I'm excited and proud to be your host. We hope you'll love the stories as much as we do, and perhaps you will find needed services, a job, volunteer, invest in, or donate. Please pass along any valuable information you hear today to others and send me the name of any organization you'd like featured at lwhitkoff@gmail.com. That's 2 T's and 2 F's. In 2005, the Wish Project founder, Donna Honeywell, had just left her full-time corporate job prior to giving birth to her first child and decided to ask her local social service agencies that same wish question. If you were given a wish, what would it be? Initially, Donna thought she would become a volunteer, but quickly discovered that agency clients were unable to focus on their difficult situations without their basic needs being met. So, the wish granting process began. The Wish Project's goal is to provide basic furniture, home goods, and baby items while helping the planet by recycling used goods. In this way, individuals in pain can focus on getting the social services they need, and the Wish Project is reducing our collective waste. I'd call it a win-win. I am so very excited to introduce my guest today, Executive Director of the Wish Project, Alice Moore, and Chief Operating Officer, Jill Maker. So let's get started. Welcome, Alice and Jill. Please share your passion about the Wish Project and how you both got involved. And Alice, I don't know if you want to start as Executive Director. I'm going to pass the torch.
Okay, I'm going to start by passing the torch to Jill.
Good.
The reason for that is I've been here for about a year, and Jill has been here for about 15 years. Jill is a former client. Her story is a great story. It's a story, the American dream kind of story, and the Wish Project played a big part in it.
Right,
so why don't you tell us a little bit, Jill, about how you got involved?
Great. Thank you. Jill, you're on.
So in 2006, I was pregnant with my second child, and we were in the Mother's Day flood. So everything that I had from my first child was in the basement. We got 4 feet of water. I thought everything was good in a plastic container, opened everything up, and everything was molded. So, of course, I'm 2 months from giving birth, starting to nest. I have nothing to nest with because I have the stress of trying to find all the replacement items for what I just lost. My cousin's girlfriend at the time happened to need a couch, and I had a van, and we went to the Wish Project to pick up her van. And Donna Honeywell had heard what had happened to me, and she came over and handed me a bag of clothes. And she's like, "Here, for your new baby, I hear you lost everything." And that was touching to me because she didn't know me from a hole in the wall. And she goes, just to start you out, just to help you out, she's like, we can, do some other things and so forth. And that just touched my heart. And at the time, I wasn't working. I was on bed rest. So my good days, I'd go and volunteer. So I volunteered off and on after the baby was born. We go at nap time and we put away clothes and so forth. June of 2007, she started hiring people, and I had happened to be around because we were in a recession and nobody was hiring. So she hired me, and I started becoming the project manager. So after that, I lost my house because I had been out of work for so long. I went into shelter. Everything that I went into or where I went, they all went to the Wish Project to get their items. And I didn't realize it at the time because I was so low on the totem pole of how everything worked. Until Mother's Day, I got a Mother's Day bag. And I knew it was one of ours. So it was kind of like a kind of moment. And then I realized that everything that was at the shelter was from the Wish Project. I ended up from the shelter to a program through Lowell Housing. Everything from them was through the Wish Project. The Wish Project basically helped us through this whole life-changing experience. And my daughter, I think she was 12 when she realized we were in shelter to begin with. And she's like, well, I never knew we were in shelter because whenever we needed something, we always had it. And I'm like, exactly. I said, but where mommy works, that's the reason we had it. I said, and I didn't know it until later on. I said, but I didn't want to try to explain to little kids on what was going on. And she just thought that was amazing. So she started volunteering. And then my middle one started volunteering. Now my little one volunteers. So my little one is now 12. And she keeps telling me she's either going to be a vet or she wants to be my position when I retire.
It's a family affair for sure.
They saw me under stress. So they understand why people get stressed out. And I always tell people it's one thing that can change your life. I had 3 jobs. When I got put on bed rest, I couldn't work anymore. So I went from 3 incomes to no income. And it was just too much. The savings went down very quickly. Everybody assumes they'd never be in that position. But with the pandemic, it's like everybody understands it a little bit better because you never thought something like this would happen. The one thing that changed, everybody's world, it's like it's a little bit more of an understanding. And the donations that we've gotten, because I think everybody understands it a little bit better, have been amazing.
So that says something so much about our fellow human being who really recognizes we are all only one step away from somebody else's situation, and to recognize that. And if one thing that COVID did do, in a horrible environment, is it really in some ways created more of a basis of empathy of where people could be at any moment, and therefore the opportunity to give in whatever way is really there, whether you volunteer or give items. And I just want to say that your story, as Alice said in the opening, is very heartwarming in so many ways. And I also want to point out that a place like the Wish Project, even though you have your own level of resilience, it probably added a piece of hope and resilience to every step that you took, knowing that there was a place there that would at least create some degree of comfort as you were trying to figure out your next step. And I have to say, kudos to you for being an incredible role model to your kids, because you're cultivating volunteers and kids who believe in themselves through your example and through the example at the Wish Project. It's just it's all around. It's incredible.
Believe it or not, in October we bought our first house.
Yay! Oh my God, congratulations. You have come full circle in this environment, right? I just love it. And the other thing I have to say is, despite your own circumstance, you found your way to volunteer as a way to give back, even when you were still not fully out of your own situation. And to me, that says so much about what fulfills us when we give.
We have clients this year who were donors the year before. COVID just really, threw them for a loop. It's that kind of atmosphere. Our clients that come here, we'll say to them, gee, can we take your picture for our Facebook page? And I would say 99% of the time they say yes. And when they say no, it's mostly because they don't think they look good that day. Mm-hmm. It is what it is. And people come and they get what they need. And then when they don't need it anymore, then they stop coming. They may donate, they may volunteer, they may not. So we're primarily a furniture bank. That's how we started. That's what Donna started. And we still do fit people up with everything they need when they're moving from homelessness into an apartment. Really, everything you need. We give people beds, a bureau, a table and chairs, a love seat or a couch. Then we also give them the lamps, the dishes, the cups, the glasses, the utensils, the shower curtain, you name it. Just everything that you would need, all the basics to set up your apartment. So that's still, a big part of what we do. But in addition to that, people can come in every month and get diapers. They can get home cleaning kits. They can get personal care kits. Every 3 months, people can come in and get a season's worth of clothing for everyone in their family. Wow. And anyone can come in and get those things. When people are coming in for furniture, car seats, strollers, the bigger items, we do require that they are hooked up with one of the local social service agencies. And the reason for that, and I think this was Donna's reason, is Donna felt, and I think rightly so, if someone needs a whole house full of furniture, they probably need other services as well.
Yeah.
So let's get them, hooked up with agencies that can help them in all the ways that they need help. But other than that, people can just come in and get these other things. Now, our donors are just incredible. So, we will have weekly wish lists of what we need for that week. And sometimes they are just kind of very general items that we need. And sometimes it will be like, we have someone who needs a size 5X winter coat, or we have someone who needs a size 14 work boot. And we'll say, if anybody has anything like this, could you bring it to us? And really, within the day, somebody has gone online and they bought it, and it's coming our way.
I want to take one step back. Alice, how did you get involved since you've been there for a shorter time? How did you know about the Wish Project? How did you knock on the door and say, hey, I want to work here?
So I'm a lawyer. I worked for a corporation called Kronos Incorporated, which is now a different name, UKG. At Christmas, I was always looking. We'd have other lawyers come in from all over the world, and I was always looking for something that we could do that was a team building thing. And so I literally just Googled and saw the Wish Project, and I like, all right, they take volunteers. So we came in as a group, and before COVID, after COVID, a lot of corporate groups, a lot of church groups, a lot of social groups, a lot of scout troops would come in to volunteer. And so my group came in, and I loved everybody here. I remember Jill, from just that one time when Jill was nothing to me, and I remember just thinking, how really how nice all these people were and how exciting this place was, and there was always so much activity, and so we would come back every year, and then I just kind of became more involved through volunteering and supporting financially, and then when their executive director left last summer, they asked me to fill in, and so I said, sure, I'm happy to help. And they said, if you could write the job description and help us find the person, that would be great. And I said, sure, I'm happy to do that. And then I was like stalling, writing the job description. And then I'm writing the job description and I'm looking at him still, and I'm like, well, you probably don't need to be the general counsel of a software company to do this. That's probably not a requirement, and I'm like, then I realized, I'm writing this for myself. Clearly I'm writing this for myself. So I stayed. I think the thing that really that I liked the most about it, which was something that I just did not see coming at all, I probably say thank you at least 50 times a day. I say thank you in person. I say thank you in letters, emails, telephone conversations. I'm always thanking somebody for something. That's pretty nice. That's really nice. And I sincerely thank people. Because there's a lot of places you could give your charitable donations to. There's a lot of really good organizations out there. There's a lot of people that, need it. I appreciate that people give us items and give us money. And so what we do, our commitment, is we don't waste a penny and we don't leave a penny on the table.
No, we do not.
And let me tell you, we don't. And this one right here, Jill, when we were in COVID and we're trying to, get people hand sanitizer and cleaning products so they could kill all the COVID cooties in their house. And, Jill figures out a way of buying empty plastic containers and buying big bottles of this and big bottles of that and making the things herself. And anything, to save a buck, we're going to do, as long as the end product is good. That's one of the things that I like about this organization is, like I've said before, it's like, if you love Jimmy Dean sausage, you probably don't ever want to get a job at the Jimmy Dean sausage factory. And I was a little nervous about taking this job because I just felt like I love this organization. What if I get there and I find out it's not what I thought it was, that the people aren't what I thought they were, that they aren't, doing the good that I think they are doing. So I had to really think about it because, it really would kind of pop, a little fantasy. And not in the least. It's only better than I thought it would be, and that's very important to me.
When we first moved to this location, we had the gas explosions in Lawrence and Andover. We weren't even open yet. So the staff pulled together. We had nothing in the warehouse, and within 3 days, we were bringing supplies up to Lawrence. Because we have the donor base that we have that are fantastic, and the staff just pulls together. We've been through so many experiences. We became a big family. We spend more time sometimes with the staff than we do our own family, so it's like extended family. Every time we have a birthday party or something like that, the whole staff has to be invited. Laurie's grandkids play with my kids. They're the same age. You know, it just, we're so, you have to be kind of tight-knit. We're such a small staff that we all have to be on the same page.
I want to get back to something you shared. So COVID did put horrible for so many people, as well as the other experiences that you've referred to. How did you operate during COVID? And I love the idea of when you say using every donor dollar, because everybody wants to hear that, but you really do your research, it sounds like, too.
Because of the situation that I've been in, I've looked, and I try to do it the best, cheapest possible way for everything in my life, at home and at work. So I've learned to shop very well.
Yeah, she'll find you the best deal.
So from as soon as the lockdown kind of happened in March, me and my kids, believe it or not, me and my kids came to the Wish Project and we started giving out stuff. So whatever we had in the warehouse, we started giving out. We weren't taking in donations. Everybody else kind of went on a sabbatical until we figured out what was going on. I'd had COVID before COVID was COVID, and I have some health issues, so I was like, I would rather take the precautions that I know what I have to do personally. I said, and no other staff member be involved in it. So we kind of made a bubble in the warehouse, and my kids would come in and do their thing and then go on to school. The only thing we had was we weren't taking in donations. So what we ended up doing was kind of an email trail of, if you need items, email me this. We'll set up a time for you to pick it up the next day. And my kids would come in, we'd fill the orders. The people came at their times. I'd just go out on the dock, I'd leave it, and then I'd walk away, and they'd pick up the items. Baby items, diapers, all of a sudden cleaning supplies became a big thing, which we didn't have. So we ended up putting it on our Amazon list, and literally every other day I'd go to the post office, and they're like, you have the back corner again. Like, thank goodness you have a minivan. Sometimes it would take me 2 trips with my minivan to fill up with all the donations that were delivered. It was amazing. Then July came because we kind of knew what was going on and how to keep precautions. We just had our basic staff and a few of our veteran volunteers come in, and then we started back to donations. We literally set up one side of the warehouse as a quarantine area. So nothing was touched for, once we found out with the CDC, for a week. Nothing was touched. So that way none of the staff members or the volunteers.
So people could still drop things off, but you would leave it there so that no one would get. I think that's a brilliant, really smart. Mm-hmm.
I over prepare for everything. Or I overthink things. So I'm always in emergency mode for so long that I've kind of extended it to work now. So we had masks before masks were masks, because we had people that would come in with colds and stuff like that, and I'd hand them a mask because I didn't want their cold.
I really salute those people who came in when they could have stayed home, like most people did. And so we have these just really super dedicated volunteers. And the other thing that's happened since then, the kids that help us, I am just amazed by the children who do things for us. So we would have we will have teenage volunteers. We will have teens do donor drives for us, where they will, if whatever we need, if we need shampoo and body wash, they'll do a drive and get it for us. But little children who will, ask for diapers for their birthday and give us all the diapers. We have a young man who had a lemonade stand and made $360 on his lemonade stand and gave every penny to us. Everybody, according to their ability and kind of where they are in life. So the people who are really donating, going on our wish lists every week and buying us those things, they tend to be, women in their 30s, maybe, 40s with young children. And then we've got little kids who are doing what they can. And then we've got older people who are doing what they can. And between all of these groups, like everybody's doing something that makes sense for them, their age, where they are in life, and they're very dedicated to it. It's not like a one-off thing.
I think we should dedicate this podcast to those volunteers during COVID who could have stayed home and didn't. And in addition to that, I love your word salute. I want to salute those volunteers, and I want to salute all of those generations, because you have an intergenerational donor and volunteer mechanism that works. And I wonder if it's, again, because of the culture that's been created there, that it's not about judgment and shame. It's about being neighborly. It's about really who in our environment needs help and how do we support them, because we ourselves are currently fortunate but may not be tomorrow. And so therefore you can't judge somebody else when you really recognize that you can be in those shoes.
I think you're exactly right, because if we've all have a million things cluttering up our brain. And if you can eliminate those worries, my child not having to sleep on the floor and get a bed, having clothes, having whatever, that frees up your brain to think about other things. And that, I think, was one of Donna's guiding principles when she founded this so many years ago.
So I want to get into a tiny little bit of the programmatic piece, because you mentioned two aspects, and I want to just highlight those and see if we're missing anything. One is that when folks come in and really want to get furniture, or if you're arranging furniture now with COVID in a slightly different way, how do you connect them to a local social service agency versus someone who may just need regular supplies and is not necessarily connected but is in a situation where they need it at the moment?
A lot of times when people call, they are already hooked up with an agency. But if they're not, if they want something, and Jill or one of our other staff members says, are you working with an agency? And if they say no, then they ask him a few questions, and then they say, well, you might want to call this agency or this agency, because I think that they'd really be able to help you. Somebody who calls here not knowing that is going to get the information.
We try to keep kind of current on what's going on with each of our agencies, so we can kind of say, oh, well, did you know this agency does this and this agency does that? And a lot of newer caseworkers are like, I'm going to call you when I have a question, because we're so connected with all of our agencies and know what's going on. We're trying to do whatever we can to help our clients. We used to have these big giant meetings where all the agencies locally would come together and go, we're doing this and we're doing that. And it's not so much right now. Everybody's trying to figure it out, of what they had to do for their agency itself, let alone trying to communicate with everybody else. Now I think everybody's kind of coming together again now that they know what's going on with their agency, and kind of booping back and trying to get everybody what they need.
How did that's such a great idea. How did those meetings start? Did you all start those meetings with the social service agencies in the area to sort of get them connected with you?
The city of Lowell started it, and it kind of grew from there.
Brilliant. So it really was an opportunity for people to cross-share information and to share resources in terms of, I have this, or you have that, or this person needs this, or we offer this. And so you could build your resource list.
We have several projects that we do throughout the year. So in addition to the emergency things, the furniture, the diapers, the clothing, we are in the middle of our project now is called Backpack Attack, and so we have given out so far about 2,500 filled backpacks, and more will be going out the door. We want every kid to be able to start the school year with a nice backpack and with everything they need inside of it. We have an initiative in the spring called BITS bags, BITS being basic items for toddler success, which is like just a bag of items that help toddlers with developmental things and crayons and things you squeeze and books and that sort of thing. And, we'll do well over 1,000 of those. Mother's Day bags we do every spring.
Those are so meaningful to think about what that does for a little child starting school in the fall, for a toddler who needs to have some physical things to be able to do crayons or manipulation with their hands, learning things. And then the Mother's Day is really honoring a mother's joy, but also challenge of being a mom.
And in the Mother's Day bags, for example, we will, put in there a lot of things that you just need. So we're going to put in there, tampons and deodorant and that sort of thing. But we always want to put in some things that you don't just need, but they're just really lovely to have.
What I hear in that is the degree of care. What I hear in your description and the visual image that I have are you're wrapping your arms around these individuals that you care about so much. And so I love what you said, that it's not just what you need, but it's a reminder that people care about each other and we care about you.
What's amazing to me too is like every time you kind of think that we've thought of everything, then you realize we haven't thought of everything. And so we would have sheets and bedding for people. And 3 or 4 months ago, a church group came in and they just take all the sheets, the pillowcases, like everything, and they bring it back. They wash everything, and then they put them into sets by size. They might not match exactly, but they will coordinate them.
Yep,
and then they put them in a package and they tie a ribbon around it. How much better is that? To get that than to just grab a sheet from this box and a pillowcase from that. But it's all about dignity. When all the small appliances that we give out, they come to us donated. They're not always clean. When we're done with them, they sparkle. They work perfectly. We wrap them in heavy plastic, so they're going to stay clean and they're easy to transport. You don't have to worry about the coffee pot falling out and the glass breaking as you're moving in. It might be a used toaster, it might be used things, but let me tell you, if you went and looked at those shelves, everything looks new.
Yeah.
because
I love it.
Because it's just everything's just cleaned with such care.
What I hear also is a sense of pride. You want people to feel they are given something with that sense of pride and care. Do sometimes volunteers, or as you pointed out, a church group or somebody coming in, do people sort of say, hey, this is something we want to do? And you're like, that would be a great initiative. Walk us through how that happens.
Bits bags really happened with caseworkers coming to us saying, what would really help us? And, and they gave us, that example. And then I think for the other initiatives, we're always taking feedback. People will say, you know what? We don't really want that anymore. Oh, good.
This is more important than this.
We'd rather have this.
Add this.
You have this culture that is open to both accepting ideas and then putting it into practice and action, which is remarkable.
It's trying to make everybody a little bit more cheerful, I guess you could say. A lot of clients will come in and they're kind of embarrassed, and I'm like, I've been there. And they look at me like, what? And I'll give them a little bit of what's been going on. I said, right now, it's for now. It's for now furniture. I said, to be able to save up and get what you absolutely love. I said, but it's better than sleeping on the floor. Like, it took me 15 years to get my life back to where I needed to be, and I said, I bought a house, and they just look at me and I'm like, I said, 15 years is a long time.
I walked by and heard Jill saying this to someone when I first started, because somebody, looked at a couch and they looked a little disappointed because, they're used couches. And I heard Jill say, this is not your forever furniture, it's your for today furniture. That's a lovely thing to say, because, when people are coming in to get their furniture, it's not their best day. Right. They're allowed to be disappointed. That it's not their dream. Jill's comment, for me, that would make me feel like, okay, that's true. It's not my forever furniture. It's my for today furniture.
Well, it gets you out of the space of thinking things will never change.
It's an optimistic thing to say to people, I think.
It's an optimistic thing to say with a realistic component. So rather than saying it in a different way, like, well, you're lucky to have this or something horrible like that, right? Honestly, that would just absolutely devastate someone. And I love what you're saying because it's optimistic with the reality of their current situation, which, by the way, will change. And you're proof of that, and so many other people are too. This episode is sponsored by the Intrinsic Group, my boutique management consulting firm specializing in guiding organizations to leverage talent, optimize processes, and to ensure the organization's narrative is aligned with their culture. If you'd like to sponsor an episode, please reach out to us. To see all the small but mighty organizations we featured, check out our incredible infographics in the stories section of the Intrinsic Group website. At the end of my podcast, I always do a fun round of quick, gutsy questions. So you'll each get an opportunity to answer for yourselves. They're just fun. And are you ready?
Sure.
We're going to put on that optimistic hat, right? It's just the question for now. It's just the answer is for today only. What is at the top of your wish list? However, the answer cannot be money or funding.
I want a big giant warehouse.
I love it. To house all of these amazing donations and the volunteers coming in.
That's my goal.
I agree with that. I don't disagree at all. But I always think that my wish list is that the Wish Project goes out of business.
That was my beginning.
No, but this is the practical. This is Jill being practical, and this is, we were both interviewed separately by an 8th grader and for a school. And she said to me, if you got $1 billion, what would you do with it? And I said, well, I wouldn't invest it into the Wish Project, quite frankly. Preschool, daycare, after school, like a million things that might help people to not get to this point. But you know what? It's going to be here for a while. So a warehouse is definitely the more practical.
The one for today, and you have the one for tomorrow. How about that? We have a today and tomorrow wish. If you were to think of a song that describes the Wish Project, what would it be?
Yeah, I don't even know if I can think of a particular song, but I know that we always have music playing in here. There's like radios on 2 sides of the warehouse, and there's always like really happy music playing.
As a staff, we usually play We Are Family, especially during like meetings and stuff like that. Yeah. The organization itself, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, We Are Family is a good choice. And also, Alice, is there a genre, a type of music that folks play on the radio that makes them feel happy?
Well, I think it's just like rock and roll. Every once in a while I'll walk by and country music will be on, which makes me very unhappy because I don't like it. But to Jill's point, when I started here, everybody gave me a little sign that I'm looking at right now in my office, and it says, remember, as far as anyone knows, we are a nice, normal family.
You've said a lot about this next question, but I wanted to give you the opportunity if there's anything that sort of stands out. What makes the Wish Project gutsy? Why is it a gutsy organization?
We're not afraid to try something new. If we feel like it's right, we will do it. Something will come up that hasn't come up before, and we put our heads together, and as long as it's not illegal or immoral or misusing funds or anything like that, we're gonna do the right thing. So we're not shy.
No.
We really do, like I said, there's a lot of nonprofits in Lowell, and they're great. We really, I think, very much relate to our clients, and they're not an arm length away. But which is nothing wrong with that. Every organization's different, and different situations call for different things, but we keep them close.
There's no hierarchy. You feel on par with the people you serve who utilize the service, and I love that. It's just an amazing attitude, and I think the gutsy piece is what you said, is you're not afraid to try things when your clients need something and it benefits the community. Jill, as you added to that, it is gutsy. It is. You're taking a chance. What is something that outsiders, or maybe even a few insiders, don't know about the Wish Project?
Some people don't realize all that we do. So there are other organizations in the area, not right near us, but in the general Middlesex, Worcester, Essex County area that provide furniture. There are other organizations that provide clothing. But we really, people are amazed when they find out all the things that we do. We always have formula on hand because moms who get the formula through WIC, if their baby can't tolerate the brand that they can get, until they get sorted out, we will find the formula that baby needs and give the baby the formula because they need to eat while the bureaucracy is going on. So as we see a need, we just kind of fill it.
We've noticed, especially with COVID, because everybody had to do phone interviews and then they had to send in paperwork and stuff like that. Food was taking longer. We started giving out gift cards. It's just a matter of getting the people what they needed when they needed it at the time. Yeah. So we just ended up asking for more formula than we normally would have, so we had a stockpile and we could just give it out.
If you could get one celebrity or influencer to endorse or talk about the Wish Project, who might that be?
Okay, who's yours?
I want Jessica Alba.
She owns
Honest, and I want diapers.
Oh, Jessica Alba, because she's got a company
she makes a lot
diapers.
Of different things now, but she's expanding.
We always
but yes,
diapers.
I love her diapers, and I want her to,
All right.
come over to our side and, maybe give us a discount, or something.
Yeah.
Diapers are practically never on sale, or if they're on sale, it's not a good sale. The price of diapers, I've just read several articles lately, they're going to be going up.
That's the one I cannot get a bargain on. I can't do it. It's so hard.
So that would be a great spokesperson and maybe do a huge donation of diapers, right? Or an endless supply, or at least at a really, really good discounted rate, right?
Yeah, and see me, I'm completely selfish. I'd pick Imagine Dragons because I love them and maybe I'd get to meet them. They're kind of very, tuned in, I think, with a lot of social issues. Plus the lead singer's pretty cute.
We will hashtag and hope that we can spread the word, and who knows, you never know until you put it out there, right? What is the best way for folks to reach you, whether they are in need or a donor or an organization that wants to help support or volunteer?
We've got a big social media presence. We have, really great people working on that. So we have over 11,000 people that like our Facebook page, but we're always looking for more people to like our Facebook page. So we update our social media 3 or 4 times a day. And then we just got our website revamped, www.thewishproject.org. People can see, what we take, what we currently need, learn more about our history and about what we've got coming up for projects and that sort of thing.
And when they like you on Facebook, it'll come up in their feed in terms of the things that you need, which is great for people to know about so they can meet those needs. That's wonderful. So I want to thank you both for this really fun, wonderful, interesting conversation about the myriad of things the Wish Project does, your early beginnings and connections, your own stories. And it was just a fabulous conversation. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with me.
Well, you're welcome. We love talking with you. You were great. The time flew by, right?
It was fabulous. And my wish for you is that you expand to a huge warehouse, and then let's say in, I don't know, Alice, in your tenure, that the Wish Project is no longer needed. I love it because they're both beautiful wishes. And my opening, I talked about, there's this magical feel about wishing when you're a little kid and you want to believe. And then sometimes as you get older, you sort of realize that people really disappoint you. And you really have brought back the belief that wishes, in fact, can come true. And that the idea, Jill, that you said that it's for now, it's not for tomorrow, it's for today, is just a beautiful mantra. Along with all of the other taglines we created today on this podcast that I hope you use for the initiatives.
We're gonna get busy with some things, I think, now that my mind's popping. I'm like, ooh,
I feel like I should trademark or copyright all these things.
Thank you for listening. If you like this podcast, please share it with your friends, give us some stars, and write a review on wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're interested in sponsoring a small and gutsy episode to keep it going, please reach out to me or buy us a coffee at www.buymeacoffee.com/small-and-gutsy. Just an FYI, for those of you who might want to be a small and gutsy patron, we just released our Patreon site with some really fun first edition small and gutsy merchandise. So check us out to support this effort at patreon.com/small-and-gutsy. Of course, we can't take responsibility outside of our own vetting of the organizations we interview, meaning we encourage you to do your own due diligence and research them as well. I want to thank my partners in this endeavor, the Intrinsic Group, the volunteers, my co-producer, sound engineer, and composer, the amazing Pavel Franson, my social media maven, Delania Tirado, my infographic creator extraordinaire, Sonia Fizek, Nate Addy for the exceptional logo, and all the friends and family who have guided and inspired me. A very special thank you to my biggest champion, without whom I could not have created this project, my very best friend and a true sounding board. Thanks, Mark Witkoff. Thanks for being there. From small and gutsy to big with impact, I'm Laura Witkoff, and thanks for listening.